I, 32F, never thought I'd be in this situation. My whole world has been turned upside down, and I'm struggling to make sense of it all. Let me start from the beginning. I grew up in a small town in the Midwest, the youngest of 3 children. My parents were high school sweethearts who married young and stayed together through thick and thin. They set a high bar for what I thought a loving relationship should be. As a child, I was always a bit of a dreamer, with my head stuck in books and a tendency to see the best in people. This optimism served me well in many ways, but it also left me vulnerable to disappointment. When I was 18, I left my small town for college in the big city. It was exciting and terrifying all at once. That's where I met Liam, 32M. We were both lost freshmen, trying to navigate the crowded campus on the first day of orientation. We literally bumped into each other, spilling our campus maps and schedules all over the floor. As we scrambled to pick up our papers, we realized we had the same first class. We decided to walk together, and from that moment on, we were inseparable. Liam and I bonded over our shared love of obscure indie bands, our terrible attempts at cooking in the dorm kitchens, and our mutual feelings of being outsiders in the sea of seemingly confident college students. We were both a bit quirky and didn't quite fit in with the popular crowd. Over the years, our friendship grew stronger. We supported each other through tough times, like when Liam's parents divorced in our sophomore year, or when I bombed my first big exam and thought my dreams of becoming a journalist were over. We celebrated each other's successes too. I was there cheering in the front row when Liam's band played their first gig at a local dive bar, and he was the first person I called when I got my internship at the city newspaper. We were the kind of friends who could sit in comfortable silence for hours, or talk until the sun came up without running out of things to say. After graduation, Liam and I both landed entry-level jobs in the same city. I started as a junior reporter at a local news station, while Liam got a job at an advertising agency. We'd often meet up for drinks after work, commiserating over difficult bosses and impossible deadlines. On weekends, we'd explore the city together, trying out new restaurants or attending free concerts in the park. It was during one of these outings, about 2 years after we graduated, that I met my now husband, Alex, 34M. We were at a food festival in the city center. Liam had wandered off to check out a stall selling exotic spices, and I was in line waiting to try some gourmet tacos. Alex was right behind me in line, and we struck up a conversation about the merits of soft versus hard-shell tacos. He was charming, with a quick wit and an easy smile. When we finally got our tacos, he asked if I wanted to share a picnic table. I agreed, and we ended up talking for hours. Alex was everything I thought I wanted in a partner. He was successful, working as a software engineer for a growing tech company. He was kind, always remembering little details about my day or surprising me with my favorite coffee. And he seemed to adore me, looking at me like I was the most fascinating person he'd ever met. We started dating, and I was swept off my feet. Alex was romantic in a way I'd never experienced before. He'd leave little love notes in my coat pockets, surprise me with weekend getaways, and always made time for date nights no matter how busy work got. Within a year, he proposed. It was a perfect moment. He took me back to the food festival where we first met, got down on one knee right by that same taco truck, and asked me to spend the rest of my life with him. I was over the moon, and Liam was right there by my side through it all. He helped me plan the wedding, offering a man's perspective on everything from the menu to the music. He calmed my pre-wedding jitters, assuring me that Alex was a great guy and that we were perfect for each other. On the day of the wedding, Liam was my man of honor. He gave the most heartfelt speech I've ever heard, talking about our years of friendship and how happy he was that I'd found someone who loved me as much as Alex did. The wedding day was perfect. I remember looking at Alex as we said our vows, thinking how lucky I was to have found such an amazing husband and to have kept such a wonderful friend in Liam. Fast forward 5 years, and life seemed perfect. Alex and I had bought a beautiful house in the suburbs, complete with a white picket fence and a big backyard for the family we were planning to start. Our careers were thriving. I had worked my way up to lead anchor at the news station, and Alex had been promoted to senior software engineer at his company. Liam's life was going well too. He had found love with a woman named Emma, 30F, who he met at a work event. Emma was vivacious and creative, working as an art teacher at a local elementary school. They got married 2 years after Alex and I did, and I was thrilled to stand by Liam's side as his best woman. Everything changed last month. It was a Tuesday evening, and I was working late at the station, preparing for a big story we were breaking the next day. I decided to surprise Alex by coming home early, picking up his favorite Indian takeout on the way. As I pulled into our driveway, I noticed Liam's car parked outside. I thought nothing of it. Liam and Alex had become good friends over the years, often hanging out when I was busy with work. I walked in, ready to surprise them both with dinner. But the house was eerily quiet. I called out, but no one answered. As I walked upstairs, I heard muffled voices coming from our bedroom. I opened the door, and my entire world shattered. There, in our bed, were Alex and Liam. They sprang apart as soon as they saw me, but it was too late. The image was burned into my mind forever. Alex, the man I had promised to love for the rest of my life, tangled up with Liam, the friend I had trusted more than anyone else in the world. I don't remember much of what happened next. There was a lot of shouting, crying, and pleading. I threw Alex's clothes out of the window, watching as his expensive suits fluttered down onto our perfectly manicured lawn. I told Liam to get out of my house, unable to even look at him. They both tried to explain, saying it had only happened a few times, that they were confused about their feelings. But I couldn't listen. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and utterly broken. It's been a month now, and I'm still reeling. Alex has moved out, staying with a co-worker until he can find his own place. I've blocked both him and Liam on all platforms, phone, email, social media. I can't bear to see their faces or read their messages. Emma reached out to me a week after it happened, devastated and angry. Apparently, Liam had confessed everything to her too. We met for coffee, both of us shell-shocked and trying to make sense of how our lives had imploded so suddenly. Emma and I were never particularly close before, but now we're united in our grief and betrayal. I've lost my husband and my best friend in one fell swoop. The two people I trusted most in this world have betrayed me in the worst possible way. I can't eat, I can't sleep, and I can't stop replaying everything in my mind, wondering if there were signs I missed. Were they always attracted to each other? Was I just a convenient cover for their relationship? How long has this been going on? Work has become my only solace. I throw myself into my job, staying late at the station and volunteering for extra assignments. Anything to keep my mind occupied and avoid going home to an empty house filled with memories. I've started having panic attacks, something I've never experienced before. They come out of nowhere, in the middle of the grocery store, during a live broadcast, as I'm trying to fall asleep at night. My chest tightens, I can't breathe, and I'm overwhelmed with a sense of despair and loneliness. My family has been supportive, but they live far away and don't really understand the depth of my pain. My sister keeps telling me I'll find someone better, that I'm better off without Alex. But she doesn't understand that it's not just about losing my husband, it's about losing my best friend, my sense of security, my entire worldview. I don't know what to do now. How do I move forward from this? How do I ever trust anyone again? The loneliness is overwhelming, and I feel like I'm drowning in my own thoughts. Any advice would be appreciated. Update 1, it's been 3 months since my last post, and I wanted to give an update on my situation. First of all, I want to thank everyone for their kind words and support. Your messages have been a lifeline during this difficult time. After the initial shock wore off, I decided to take action. I hired a divorce lawyer, a tough-as-nails woman named Patricia who came highly recommended by a colleague at the news station. She's been guiding me through the process of ending my marriage to Alex. It's been a messy and emotional journey, but I'm determined to come out stronger on the other side. One of the most challenging aspects has been dealing with mutual friends and family. Many people were shocked when they found out what happened. Our annual 4th of July barbecue, which Alex and I usually hosted, became a point of contention. Some friends tried to remain neutral, inviting both Alex and me to their events. Others took sides. I was hurt to discover that a couple we'd been close with for years, Mark and Sarah, had known about Alex and Liam's affair for months and hadn't said anything. My parents, true to their commitment to marriage, initially encouraged me to try to work things out with Alex. They kept saying things like, "Marriage is hard work and everyone makes mistakes." It took several tearful phone calls for them to understand the depth of the betrayal and to accept that reconciliation wasn't an option for me. Alex's family has been a whole other issue. His mother, who I was once close with, has been calling and leaving voicemails begging me to give Alex another chance. She insists that he's confused and that with some couples therapy, we could move past this. I've had to block her number for my own peace of mind. Emma and I have become unexpected allies in all of this. We've met up several times, usually at a quiet cafe far from our usual haunts. We talk for hours, sharing our anger, our pain, and our confusion. She's also filing for divorce from Liam. It's been comforting to have someone who understands exactly what I'm going through, who doesn't try to minimize my feelings or rush me to get over it. About a month ago, Liam showed up at my workplace. He was waiting outside the station when I finished the evening news broadcast. I tried to ignore him, but he pleaded for just 5 minutes of my time. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him at a nearby cafe. Liam looked terrible. He'd lost weight, had dark circles under his eyes, and his usual neat appearance was disheveled. He poured his heart out, telling me how sorry he was and how much he valued our friendship. With tears in his eyes, he explained that he had always had feelings for me but never acted on them out of respect for our friendship. When he and Alex started spending more time together, those feelings somehow transferred to Alex. He said they had both been confused and scared, never meaning to hurt Emma or me. I listened to everything he had to say, my emotions swinging wildly between anger, pity, and a traitorous longing for the friendship we once had. In the end, I told him that while I appreciated his honesty, I couldn't forgive him. The betrayal was too deep, and the trust was irreparably broken. Seeing the pain in his eyes was difficult, but I knew I had to stand my ground. As for Alex, he's been trying to convince me to go to couples counseling. He's left messages with mutual friends, sent emails to my work address, and even had flowers delivered to the station, which I promptly gave away to an intern. He claims that he's confused about his sexuality and that what happened with Liam was a mistake. Last week, he ambushed me outside our old favorite restaurant, begging for another chance. I've made it clear that there's no chance of reconciliation. The divorce proceedings are moving forward, and I'm focusing on healing and rebuilding my life. I've started seeing a therapist to work through my emotions and trust issues. Dr. Fernandez is kind but no nonsense, pushing me to confront my feelings rather than bury them in work. It's been helpful to have a professional to talk to, someone who can provide guidance and coping strategies. I've also thrown myself into new activities. I joined a local hiking group and have been exploring the great outdoors every weekend. The physical activity and fresh air have been therapeutic, and I've met some wonderful people who know nothing about my past drama. I've also started taking a pottery class at a community center. There's something soothing about working with my hands, creating something tangible out of a lump of clay. Work continues to be a source of stability. I pitched a series of investigative pieces on local corruption, which my boss greenlit. It's challenging work, requiring long hours and intense focus, but it's also deeply satisfying. I'm reminded of why I fell in love with journalism in the first place. There are still days when the pain feels overwhelming. I'll catch a whiff of Alex's favorite cologne on a stranger and be transported back to happier times. Or I'll see something funny happen and instinctively reach for my phone to text Liam before remembering I can't. But these moments are becoming less frequent. I'm learning to be comfortable with being alone and rediscovering who I am outside of my relationships with Alex and Liam. Thank you all again for your support. I'll update again if there are any significant developments. Update 2. It's been 6 months since my last update, and a lot has changed. I want to thank everyone who has continued to support me through this journey. The divorce from Alex was finalized 2 months ago. It was a bittersweet moment, relief that it was over, but also sadness for the end of what I thought was a happy marriage. The process was draining, both emotionally and financially. We had to sell our house, divide our assets, and negotiate over everything from our joint bank accounts to who would keep our dog, Max. In the end, I let Alex keep Max, knowing that my work schedule wasn't ideal for a pet. Saying goodbye to Max was almost as hard as saying goodbye to the life I thought we'd have together. I've moved out of our shared house and into a small apartment in a different part of the city. It's a cozy one-bedroom with big windows and a tiny balcony where I've started growing herbs. It's been refreshing to have a space that's entirely my own, free from painful memories. I've been enjoying decorating it and making it feel like home. My sister flew in for a weekend and helped me paint the living room a cheerful yellow color. Work has been a saving grace throughout all of this. I threw myself into the investigative series I mentioned in my last update. It was challenging work, requiring late nights, confidential sources, and meticulous fact-checking. But it paid off. Our series exposed significant corruption in the local government and led to several arrests. Last month, I received a promotion to senior investigative journalist. It's been a confidence boost and a reminder that I'm capable of achieving great things on my own. As for Liam and Alex, I've heard through the grapevine that they're now officially a couple. They moved in together last month, into a loft downtown. It stung to hear this news, but I'm trying to focus on my own healing rather than their relationship. Emma and I still meet up occasionally for coffee or a glass of wine. She's been doing well too. She's started dating someone new, a kind-hearted pediatrician she met through a mutual friend. One unexpected development is that I've reconnected with an old college friend, Natalie, 33F. We were close during our university days but lost touch after graduation when she moved across the country for grad school. She reached out after hearing about my divorce through our alumni network. We started with a long phone call, reminiscing about our college days and catching up on the past decade. Now we text regularly and have weekly video chats. It's been wonderful to have a friendship that's not tainted by the drama of the past year. Natalie encouraged me to try online dating, insisting that not everyone out there is a cheater. After some hesitation, I created a profile. I've been on a few dates, Nothing serious yet, but it's been nice to put myself out there again. Last week, I had coffee with a charming history teacher named David. We talked for hours about everything from ancient civilizations to our favorite true crime podcasts. I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet, but it's good to know that there are still good people out there. I still have moments of anger and sadness, but they're becoming less frequent. My therapist, Dr. Fernandez, has been helping me work through these emotions and develop healthier coping mechanisms. I've also started practicing mindfulness and meditation, which has been incredibly helpful in managing stress and anxiety. Every morning, I spend 10 minutes doing guided meditation, and it's made a noticeable difference in my overall mood. My relationship with my parents has improved. They've come to understand the depth of the betrayal I experienced and have become my staunch supporters. Last month, they visited for a week, and it was healing to spend time with them. We cooked family recipes together, watched old movies, and talked for hours. Their unwavering love and support reminded me of the strong foundation I come from. Looking back, I can see how far I've come since that devastating night 9 months ago. While I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone, I've learned a lot about myself and my resilience. I'm proud of the way I've handled this situation and excited about what the future holds. Thank you all for being part of my journey. Your kind words and advice have meant more than you know. Update 3. It's been a year since my last update, and I wanted to share some final thoughts on this chapter of my life. The past year has been one of tremendous growth and healing. I've continued with therapy, which has been instrumental in helping me process my emotions and rebuild my self-esteem. Dr. Fernandez and I have worked through a lot of my trust issues, and I've learned to set healthy boundaries in all my relationships. I'm no longer afraid to speak up for myself or express my needs. My career has continued to flourish. The promotion I received last year led to even more opportunities. I was sent to cover some major national stories, including a series on climate change that took me to several states. Last month, I was offered a position as the lead investigative journalist for our network's national news division. It's a big step up and will require me to relocate to New York, but I'm excited about the challenge. On the personal front, I have some news that surprised even me. Remember Natalie, the college friend I reconnected with? Well, our friendship slowly blossomed into something more. We've been dating for the past 6 months, and I can honestly say I've never been happier. It started during one of our video chats. We were laughing about some ridiculous thing we did in college, and suddenly I realized I hadn't felt this comfortable with someone in a long time. Natalie is kind, supportive, and understands my past without judging me for it. She's patient with my moments of insecurity and celebrates my successes as if they were her own. We're taking things slow, but I'm optimistic about our future together. She's even considering relocating to New York with me for my new job. As for Alex and Liam, I've had minimal contact with them. They're still together, from what I've heard. Last month, I ran into them at a mutual friend's wedding. It was awkward at first, but I was surprised to find that seeing them didn't affect me as much as I thought it would. We exchanged polite greetings, and then I spent the rest of the evening enjoying the celebration with my friends. Emma and I are still in touch. She's engaged to the pediatrician she started dating after her divorce from Liam, and I couldn't be happier for her. We've both come so far from where we were 2 years ago. She's even asked me to be a bridesmaid at her wedding next spring. My parents have been incredibly supportive of all the changes in my life. They've welcomed Natalie with open arms and are excited about my move to New York. Dad's already planning weekend trips to visit me and explore the city. Looking back, I can see that the betrayal I experienced, while painful, was ultimately a catalyst for positive change in my life. It forced me to confront my fears, stand up for myself, and rediscover who I am as an individual. I'm stronger, more self-aware, and more appreciative of genuine relationships. To anyone going through a similar situation, I want to say this: it gets better. It may not feel like it now, but with time, self-reflection, and the support of true friends, you can heal and find happiness again. Trust your instincts, be kind to yourself, and don't be afraid to start over. Thank you all for being part of this journey with me. Your support and encouragement have meant the world to me. While this will be my final update on this situation, I leave you with a heart full of gratitude and hope for the future.